What is going on, Laker fans? Thank you very much for tuning in. We're doing a little Lakers Talk Daily here on ESPN LA, our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Lakers taking on the Denver Nuggets coming up tomorrow. So they're going on a two-game road trip. Obviously, the team is 0-3, losses to the Warriors, lost to the Clippers, and then lost to the Portland Trailblazers on Sunday. That by far the most frustrating of the L so far for the Lakers. So this is what I want to do in today's episode. I want to talk about the latest on the injury front, and I really kind of want to spend some time on how I think the Lakers should be using Russ based off how he's doing over these first few games. So we get an update. We usually get an update the day before that just says, okay, hey, here's the latest on the injury front. I'll just read a couple of these. Anthony Davis, probable for Wednesday's matchup against the Nuggets. He's been dealing with that back issue that he suffered in game two. That game two? Yeah, against Clippers. LeBron day to day. Probable Wednesday's game against the Nuggets. Just says foot on there, so he's dealing with something with his foot. But usually when it's probable, most likely they're going to end up playing, and that's not really much of a conversation. The surprise one that we saw earlier today was Russ. It says Russell Westbrook hamstring is listed as doubtful to play Wednesday against Denver. Shams Charania of The Athletic reports. So that's kind of where we are here, and I want to spend a little bit of time on this. There's a lot of people now saying, okay, is this the same thing that happened on Friday? Remember Friday, Lakers were going to play the Sacramento Kings. It was the final preseason game. This was, what was it now? A little over a week ago or so. Lakers were going to play the Sacramento Kings. And Russ, this was going to be the first time in a really long time that he was going to come off the bench, played 5 minutes, and then had a hamstring issue, left the game, did not return. And then he was asked about it afterwards and said that if it had any effect on him, the fact that he was coming off the bench, took him out of his regular routine. He said, absolutely, that is part of the reason why he felt like he had that hamstring injury. That went away. Tuesday, he came, played 30-plus minutes against the Golden State Warriors. Lakers on Thursday played the Clippers. He was obviously there. And then in this last game against the Portland Trailblazers, he's obviously a part of that matchup. Minutes-wise so far, just want to double-check here. What has he got minutes-wise averaging so far? 28.7 minutes so far in these 3 games from an average perspective. So I don't know if this, the Westbrook hamstring listed as doubtful. I'm not going to try to make any connections to that and say, oh, well, is this because the Lakers tried doing this before, or can he actually just have a hamstring issue? I'm just going to say that maybe he just has a hamstring issue, and that's going to be the case for, the game tomorrow. What I did want to spend the episode on was how the Lakers, if Russell Westbrook is going to be on the floor, and if he's going to be a part of the Lakers' day-to-day lineup, I would like to see something changed as far as how the Lakers are using Russ. So I'm not the first one to say this, and I won't be the last one to say this. I don't really know why Russ is in the starting lineup. I don't. I would prefer seeing Russ coming off the bench. And I don't think I'm the only Laker fan that would prefer that. And I would prefer that him coming off the bench, there's no guaranteed set minutes for him. And this is the way it should be for every player on the Lakers other than LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You know that you're not going to win many basketball games without LeBron and AD. After that, it really just comes down to is who's playing well should be garnering a lot of those minutes. So I know the Lakers tried this for a quick second. That was that Friday, and I was a little surprised that they didn't give it a little bit more time to see how will Russ work off the bench for the Lakers. I think in a perfect world for Russ, this is how I would use him at this point. Laker fans, it's a very small sample size, but let's just be real with how he's playing so far this year. And I'm going to go back to something John Ireland said yesterday. We were doing one of our crosstalks, and the shows were kind of merging or whatever. And John said, and he's completely right, he emphasized, he's like, look, if you think the Lakers are 0-3 because of Russell Westbrook, you're not watching Lakers basketball. They're 0-3 because they're shooting 21% from the 3-point line. He's not wrong on that. The Lakers have, I think one game attempted 45, another game attempted 40, and then another game, the last game against the Blazers, maybe 33 attempts, something along those lines. And I want to say they were 6 for 33. They're shooting 21% from the three-point line. So John is not wrong on that they're 0 for 3 right now, because defensively, they've been really good. Not crazy about the game against the Golden State Warriors. I thought they did really well against the Clippers. It actually gives you a lot of hope. I feel like the personality of the Lakers, you're usually your coach, you take on the personality of your coach. And Darvin Ham definitely has got the personality of, we're going to lock down on defense. We'll worry about everything else later. You're going to grind on defense. You can do everything that you possibly can. So John is not wrong that the three-point shooting is why the Lakers are sitting at 1-2. Or I'm sorry, 0-3. I wish 1-2. However, Russ hasn't been good. So I also don't want to make a case for Russ that he should be playing 30 minutes a game based on what we've seen so far. Let me share, and it's only 3 games, but I'm going to share this with you. Russ is shooting from the field. So far this year, he's shooting 29% from the field. Not from the three-point line, from the field. He's shooting 29% so far from the field. He's shooting 8% from the three-point line. 8% from the three-point line. So this is how, I think, for me, in a perfect world, and I'm really curious to see how Darvin Ham ends up using Russ moving forward, but this is how I'd like to see the Lakers use Russ starting tomorrow against the Denver Nuggets. Bring him off the bench. That's number one. Throw in a guy like Austin Reeves. I think he'd be great in the starting lineup. And whoever Russ comes off the bench with, let them, Russ, here's the ball. You kind of do your thing and see what that looks like. But I do not want Russ in the starting lineup. I would much rather have Russ coming off the bench. And then based on how Russ is playing, determine how many minutes he's going to play. If Russ is having one of those games like against the Clippers where he couldn't hit a shot, but he had 5 steals and you feel like he's impacting the game, let him play 30 minutes. If he's having a game where he can't hit a shot and teams are using Nurkic and Zubats to guard him and they're nowhere within 15 feet of him and it's hurting the Lakers, take him out of the game. I would hate to see at this stage, especially with the Lakers 0-3, that it has to be performance-based. It just has to be. And I'm also really curious how Russ would take it. Would Russ embrace it? Or would Russ look at it and look at it as a sign of disrespect or whatever the case is? To be honest with you, it doesn't really matter to me how he looks at it. I care more about how he performs and how the Lakers are looking on the floor. So I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't play. If he does play, I'd love to see the Lakers start using him off the bench and, run that second unit, see how he does. Maybe he's more comfortable in that situation. Maybe that reminds him more of the days with the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Houston Rockets or the Washington Wizards. And maybe he can find lightning in a bottle. And towards the end of games, if he's a liability like he was in the game against the Portland Trailblazers, don't have him in the game. So whether he's playing 15 minutes a game or 30 minutes a game, it needs to be based on merit. It needs to be based on how he's doing and how he's performing. So Russ, like I mentioned, we got the injury report on him. Hamstring listed as doubtful to play tomorrow against Denver. I believe Shams was the first to report it. And we'll see if he ends up playing. We'll see what the Lakers do. I do know this, and all Laker fans know this as well. You're 0-3. You got some tough games coming up. You got some work to do. So there really isn't time, let's just say, is not on your side, even though the season literally just started. Laker fans, appreciate you guys being a part of Lakers Talk Daily. Please subscribe to the channel. You have it here on ESPN LA that you could subscribe to. I also got my channel, Lakers Talk with Alan Sliwa. You could subscribe there as well. Thank you for being a part of the show. Get another one of these up tomorrow before the Lakers take on the Denver Nuggets.